Welcome to 20-28 Sargent Street in Hartford. It's a rainy, warm night in Hartford. And we're dressed up because we are going to this XL Center unveiling of the new plans tonight over at the Convention Center with the CRDA. And Pete and I are very excited about that. It's the next phase to get this project going. Hopefully paid for. And, you know, we hope there's a lot of whaler support, hockey support. But again, you know, like we've discussed before, this is not just about hockey. It's about keeping a great place in Hartford. And as part of that puzzle that CRDA has been working on over the last 5 years, and that's been, you know, the apartment complexes. It's about Front Street. It's about joining everything together and keeping the XL Center. Like you've said in the past, over 500,000 people have been to the XL Center last year. That's 1 out of every 6 person in Connecticut.
Yeah, even more so you could say in the last 2 years, over 1 million people have gone to the XL Center. That's 1 out of 3 people in Connecticut.
There you go.
And I hear from people go, well, I don't go to Hartford. Yeah, you don't. That's fine, you do not. But believe me, if the NHL was here, you'd be going to the XL Center. Anybody would be going to the XL Center.
But again, it's more than that, and we've said it. I bring up my own story because when I was a kid, I went to the circus. I went to Disney on Ice. I went to the Harlem Globetrotters. And what do you think? Families are not going out anymore?
Yeah.
No, this is a staple of Hartford that has to exist because not only can families enjoy it for year-round activities, what else is there? We know the yard goats are slowly getting to their starting line. But right now, the XL Center is the only thing that exists besides Hartford Stage and the Bushnell, and those are great venues. I talked to my wife the other night. We might go see the Christmas Carol. First time I would have ever been to Hartford Stage, and I want to be able to say, hey, way to go. They remodeled it 2 years ago. Who was just in town? Kevin Bacon was in a show over there.
Peter Falk got his first start there. You know.
So there's a lot of history with that as well. These are all pieces of the puzzle, and people have to realize, and you know, guys like Joe Markley, who are bashing putting money in the Civic Center or the XL Center.
The senator from Southington.
Yes, correct. And so, I didn't vote for him. And the other thing is, you know, these are things that have to exist. You know, if he doesn't want the XL Center, then don't come. We don't want someone like you in there. You know what? Come to the XL Center, enjoy what they've done to it. And yes, we've only seen about 25% of what they've actually done because the rest is all the infrastructure that have to be fixed or else it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the bottom line is the XL Center loses money every year. And you may be like, so what? It's your tax dollars that are going into a hole because the building is so outdated. The infrastructure's old. We've been through this, you know, in this show a lot. There's issues with the building that you can't make a profit with it. Now, if you put some money into it and you get the renovation process going and you have all these events, because, you know, we're all hockey, but we're talking, you're right, about circus, you know, Disney on Ice, Globetrotters. You know, you get that type of people going into the building, and now you're turning a profit on the building after a renovation. They put 10% into this building in 2014, and since then, it has decreased the red that the XL's running in every year. So you've already got like a little bit of a, what do they call that, a proof of, you know, like,
existence.
You're proving that the model does work. When you put a little money in there, the amenities are better, the attendance went up.
The management team is better. I mean, the difference between AEG and what we have now with Spectrum and Chris Lawrence and his group is night and day.
AEG's problem was they didn't listen to us, even though we talked to them, but they didn't listen to us, and they're not here today.
And you can see down in other venues that they're managing that they're failing again. You know, isn't Brooklyn an AEG?
Yeah, Brooklyn's an AEG, but
thank you very much.
They like running their concerts.
That's good.
You know
Have
what?
a ball.
Hey, go ahead, make the Islanders mad, make
them
move.
Yes.
But yeah, getting money into the XL Center is, you know, this is kind of like a situation where you're saying, okay, I'm dead broke. I don't have any money for this. You know, I don't have any money. This is kind of like your car, and you've blown a head gasket, and you're saying, well, you know, I don't have any money to fix it. Well, it really needs to be done. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get around. You're walking everywhere. So, you know, it's an issue of, do you want to continue to throw money into a hole until it eventually dies? Because, you know, this building is not fine. I hear a lot of people on social media say, oh, you know, I was there, it was fine. You're looking at it from like the spark. We're talking about a patient that's like got, you know, parasites in it. I mean, he looks fine from the outside. Inside, it's an absolute mess. So, you know, the fact that people tell me they can go to Mohegan, well, that return doesn't come back to the state. Go to Boston, New York, that's the same thing. Now people are leaving the state. So this XL Center
teams are advertising in our state.
Which is ridiculous, you know? I mean, you know someone might go crazy over that. But
some people might.
yeah. So, you know, it's about getting the fact that you're getting, you know, you got 1 million people coming to the XL the last 2 years. I can guarantee you that that number would increase dramatically if you had a new renovated building and you had a second concourse. And this is, of course, like a 3-year plan. And I think that the bottom line tonight with this meeting is that they're reintroducing the plan because now you have a deadlocked Senate and the legislature in Connecticut. It's 18-18. And I think they're saying, hey, we still want to proceed with this. And while I know things are bleak and dim and everybody's like, well, the budget and this and that, it's true. But there's some necessities for, you know, especially for Hartford. And this is definitely one of them. We would probably be saying the same thing if the Bushnell was crumbling. And, you know, there's no hockey plays there. Right.
And again, we've brought it up before. What about the restaurants? What about the pubs? What about the places where people want to go eat? They're not going to exist if people don't come into our city. This is not only an investment right now, but it's an investment in the future, because if the XL Center is all of a sudden taken away, that's a bigger hole.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about a hole that we can patch right now.
Yeah.
Is it an investment right now? Yes, it's an investment for the future, and people have to understand that. Yes, it's going to be a lot of money. Yes, we don't have a lot of money right now.
Right.
But you know what? This is an investment just like those apartments are. Those apartments, those luxury apartments are 80% filled citywide.
Right, right.
And we've already talked about the age groups that are moving in. They're younger people. Not only that, UConn's moving downtown next year. That's another step in the right direction where you're bringing people downtown. The busway, whether you like it or not, is bringing people downtown.
This is true.
You take the bus in.
Yep.
You know what? It works.
Yep.
You just have to get over this stupid stigma that only poor people take buses. No, they don't.
Yep.
Smart people take buses because they don't have to drive their car, they don't have to park, and it's $3.
And
it's
you don't have to get in issues. You don't have
There's
to
$3
no door
round trip.
dings, scratches. It's brutal out there parking in Hartford. But that's not what it's about. Everyone's always complaining about parking. Believe me, this city has done enough dumb things with parking. They actually wanted to tear down the State House, the old State House, you know, built in like 1798. They wanted to tear that down to put parking in the middle in the 70s. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's time to move on. I mean, we're showing good results. You know, UConn is still, they're second right now in Hockey East attendance. And, you know, they haven't been exactly hot again this season, but they've been pretty good.
Don't get me going.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, with all those new students coming downtown, and a 20-year lease that UConn wants to sign with the XL Center if this plan gets done. If it doesn't get done, and we'll point back to the Whalers, you know, the Hartford City Council in 1997 released a document that's been on Dennis House's, produced everybody. $75 million left the state of Connecticut when the Whalers left. You're talking about parking and all these concessions and amenities and business like that. So if UConn doesn't, if this XL Center job does not get done, UConn's not going to sign that 20-year lease. Now take 20 years of all the UConn revenue and kiss it goodbye.
That means all the UConn
you know
revenue.
What?
That's basketball, hockey, and even football over at Rensselaer.
The Rensselaer Field was part of it too. Yeah, they need this XL Center plan to be the cornerstone for their entire sports athletic program. If not, they're going to have to think of something else, and that would be just absolutely disastrous for them to try to go back to stores and try to build something there. You know,
well, it's going to cost the state money.
Yeah.
So are you going to invest downtown where you can get a better return on your investment, or build a hockey rink out in UConn, in Cow Country?
Yeah.
Now, no disrespect to UConn, but I'm not driving an hour to go see a hockey game.
Nah, not stores. No, that's a nightmare itself. I mean, you think Hartford's bad with traffic? Try getting everybody in and out on one road.
Yes.
And the townies can't stand it. They don't want anything to do with it. So, I mean, either way, you're spending money. You might as well get the most bang for your buck. We've seen a proof of you know, of existence, like you said. You know, this is actually kind of working. Now, if we were sitting here and UConn attendance was like 1,200 to 800, you'd be like, you know what?
Right.
This is probably not working. But we're talking about 3 seasons now. This is the 3rd season, and UConn's been in the top 2 at home at the XL Center attendance-wise. That means beating BC, BU, Lowell, Lowell, Mass, which they draw incredible because they're such a good team. You know, so to have that, and the same thing with the basketball, you get your 10, 12,000. If the basketball team's good, you're going to get a little bit more. But you know, we've heard from the CRDA that Wolfpack does not make money, but the UConn games do. And that's important.
Also, we have to include the Wolfpack in there because they add 38 games. They add 38 games on top of UConn's 15. You know,
for the downtown, it's great because you're getting 4,000 people times.
That's 53 games of hockey.
Yeah, you're talking about 160,000 Wolfpack AHL fans come into. So they go out to eat, they park, you know, they spend some money. So you need that, even though necessarily the Wolfpack, and it's part of it is that affiliation fee. You know, the Rangers have the highest affiliation fee of any AHL team at $1.5 million. It's coming out of your pocket as well. It'd be great, you know, if we could get a team in there other than the Wolfpack that doesn't have that high affiliate fee.
We have to be
you know?
honest, and,
Yeah.
I blame the state for that because they agreed in this contract to pay
Yeah.
that $1.5 million
Yeah, they
affiliation
did.
fee.
Yeah.
And that was to keep the Wolfpack here
Yeah.
because they were worried about other things. And
Yeah.
then UConn came in, and they've seen, obviously, an increase in the
Right,
attendance,
right.
but they're still tied into that contract. They
Right.
have to pay that $1.5 million affiliation fee. Yes, that $1.5 million could pay for
Right.
security cameras in the XL Center.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
could pay for new lighting in the XL Center.
Yeah.
It could pay for half of the ice sheet. These are things that you could use for it, but you know what? The contract is the contract.
Yeah.
Next year, the Wolfpack it's their last year of their contract,
Yep.
and they could probably restructure that contract if they were going to keep the Wolfpack.
If they wanted to do it, I can't see the Rangers going, hey, you know, how about we'll do $800,000 this time because, you know, I mean, affiliate fees only go up.
Yeah, but you know what?
yeah.
The Rangers are now trained to pay nothing
Yeah.
because the state has trained them that way.
Yeah.
So now it's time to think about outside the box. If you're going to just keep UConn, that's fine. If you want another AHL team, yes, that contract has to be structured differently. Obviously, with the economy the way it is,
Yeah.
we don't have $1.5 million.
It's
you know,
a
on
lot of money
contract.
for a team that's not, you know.
Well, this year they're not doing too well.
They're not doing too well. But of course, you know, again, with a better building, perhaps the you know the Wolfpack draw better as UConn will. So. You know, you make the building better. You make it a better place to go. You know, better place for
Well,
families.
you're making
you
it
know.
more marketable for concerts and other venues to come in.
Yeah.
Entertainers want a nice facility.
Mm-hmm.
Gino Ariema has been very vocal that it's embarrassing when he has to bring visiting clubs in because they have to play in the XL Center. Now, we've seen what they've done in the locker rooms, but he's not talking about that. He's taking the elevator up to the concourse, and he's like, this is nasty.
The other day, I was at the BC UConn game, which was November 22nd. And I was in section 101, right in that little concourse area, and I hear this, zzz, and it's these lights, like, you know, in the XL Center. They're so loud that I actually recorded them, and I'll put them on the Facebook. You can hear how ridiculous it is. I mean, you know, a librarian would probably hang themselves. If that wasn't a library, it's the most annoying noise. You're trying to watch a hockey game, and you got these buzzing lights, and the problem is these lights are 20, 30 years out of date. They, you know, and guess what? They're not energy efficient. That costs money too. This is just like home improvement in your own house. You know, your windows are leaky, you're losing heat. You know, maybe not you, but you know, other people.
hurt.
Yeah. But you lose heat from leaky windows. You know, that costs you money. So you need to fix that. You know, you need to repair that. You know, we always talk about the hockey, but you know, again, this is encompassing. This
is families.
500,000 people.
These are families,
Yeah.
and you see it with the Wolfpack. You know, and we, for those of us who have kids, when you go to any event, you know, you go in and what's the kid say? I want a soda. I want a hot dog.
Yeah.
I want cotton candy. I want popcorn. I
Right.
want ice cream. Well, holy crap, by the end, you're broke.
Right.
Not only did you take them to the hockey game,
Yeah.
now you just paid for a 7-course meal.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not inexpensive.
Yeah, and talk to the NHL and get some Whaler, you know, memorabilia and sell that in there because you know that's always a hot item. So
well,
you know,
UConn's out in the atrium there sells.
do they have some stuff?
Oh
That's
yeah,
good.
they're selling jerseys and shirts and T-shirts.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And
Yeah.
so you know that's a great thing. That's the other segue to this is Northland and the state of Connecticut are going back and forth on trying to buy the atrium, trying to buy Hartford 21 and the retail area outside of the XL Center. This is a big step because SCI has said they need that extra space for this remodel.
Yeah.
They needed that 100,000 square foot spot
it's a big piece.
to push the arena out.
Yeah.
And so this meeting tonight is very, very important.
Yeah, it's
and
get it right back on the right
I
foot.
hope and I do believe in the CRDA. Michael Freemuth is great. Susan Hopgood is great. And when you get in there, they're going to present a very good model with SCI.
Oh, I think so for sure. And you know, Larry Gottsteiner is the Northland guy who, you know, in 2006 was talking about, you know, maybe I'll help buy the Penguins. I have $500 million in real estate in downtown. So if he really wanted the Whale back, you know, he should work on getting, you know, that atrium to the state. You know, it's been way too long. We've been dealing with this. We've been dealing with this for years.
The other thing is, right now, Larry Gottsteiner is probably not feeling too good about his real estate investments, and
Yeah.
he's probably holding out for as much as he can get.
He probably is.
Because
yeah.
it's
taken way too long
since that crash.
Yeah.
He's probably sipping out of a soup can.
I mean, they've released it a little bit. Like, in other words, the state has managerial responsibility of the atrium, and they needed that because the elevators were an issue, the escalators were an issue under Northland, and they weren't getting repaired. And I can't tell you how bad the bathrooms were, and they weren't taking care of the bathrooms. So they got managerial control, so they can lock it up at night, clean it up, make it presentable. And it's sad that we don't have that atrium yet. And I say we because it's the taxpayers that need that. This is a state-run building. It's a city-owned building, but it's a state-run building.
And there has been conversations about putting some things out there, some restaurants or some pubs,
get some
and
storefronts
make money
in
on
there.
that. But you have to be careful because there's also a contract inside the XL Center for food services. So they might violate that contract by having restaurants and pubs outside in that atrium. We would have to check with CRDA on that. But all of this together, I think we've told you enough for you to say, you know what? Maybe we should invest in the XL Center. And you know what? If you don't, go pile sand. You know, that's the way it is.
So yeah, we'll go to that meeting and we'll let you know. You know, we hope to speak. Maybe we'll end up on the news again like we did last time in February when they released this plan.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, because you know, it's one thing we joke around a lot and we do this a lot, but you know, Jerry and I do a lot of research. We do read up on a lot of things. We obviously talk to a lot of people that other people don't. People that are in the know. So you know, when we're talking about this stuff, we're presenting a case for the XL Center. Because you know, we really believe this is the right way to go. You know, it's the best plan that we've seen. When you have a team like SCI, the Stadium Consultants International, that just did MSG, which is like the the world renowned the MSG, and they're looking at Hartford. You jump on that. You jump on that.
You know, I give the state a lot of credit for getting someone who is in the game.
Someone knows what they're doing.
Lack of a better term, in the game, in the arena plans, in the construction and architecture. That's very important. We spoke to someone and said we hope that the bid didn't go in for the plastic pipes versus the metal pipes because we saw what happened down in Barclays
the Islanders,
Center. Yeah, we want the metal pipes.
Yeah,
and this person was
they're putting in the metal pipes, like we are now. You know, so yeah. But you know, that's the whole thing is getting this building up to speed. So tonight, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, we're not really sure if there's going to be a lot of pushback or not, but you know, if people are going to you know, there's a lot of arguments out there
We're
about
fighting for you.
Yeah,
You just remember that.
There's a lot of people out there that are putting the false thing about no one goes to Hartford, and we just told you there 1 million people went to the XL in the last 2 years. That's a little bit more than no people. I just want to make that point.
Yeah, that's good. You should because people don't listen to us.
No.
But you know, I was at the game the other night, the other afternoon. It was Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock game against Sacred Heart, UConn versus Sacred Heart. They ended up getting about 3,600, 3,699, I think it was.
It's not bad for a Saturday afternoon.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Non-conference matchup.
Right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And you know, when just
right
after it was Thanksgiving weekend.
People are away too.
Yeah, so you know, I think that's a fair crowd.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're ranked number 2.
Yeah.
So you know, we're still maintaining our attendance levels.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, UConn failed to show up for the game.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I wasn't there for that one.
It was 2-0 right off the bat. Bam, bam, we're up. Right, Brass Bonanza. Everyone's having fun. I sat with Rich Coppola, had a great conversation with him.
Yeah.
First period, 24 face-offs. Sacred Heart, 17 face-off wins. UConn 7.
Yeah.
You don't win hockey games when you don't win face-offs.
No,
you have to control the play.
Almost 3-1 right there. Yeah.
It was horrendous.
Yeah.
They let them hang around. Rob Nichols, great goaltender, but you know what? Gives up too many rebounds. Sitting out there, that puck sits out there,
again?
And it's frustrating to watch because you want to grab the puck.
Yeah.
Tage Thompson, bad penalty towards the end. He has to be more disciplined. Same thing with the rest of them. You know, it was almost like they were just they weren't crisp passes. They were kind of just floating the puck.
Don't get up for the big matchups.
And it was wrong because you know what? It just showed that underdog was ready to play the game.
Yeah.
And Sacred Heart was ready to play, and it boosted their record.
Was it
from 5-7 now?
Yeah. Was it similar to the game that they played against AIC, where it was kind of lackluster? Like they should have won the game.
It was AIC was a boring game, and yes, it was that type of boring game that they were not taking control, and that's what's frustrating as a fan, as a person that watches the game, that wants to report back to you guys. Is we sit there and you watch it, and it's frustrating because you're like, come on.
Yeah.
I realize they're college kids, but you know what? Come on, you're playing the XL Center. You have 5,000 for the BU game we went to.
Yep.
Right? 5,000 fans. They lost 2-1. Did they have to lose 2-1? No, they never took control of the game. They let the other teams take control of the game. Mike Cavanaugh, Coach Cavanaugh the other night said they were very upset about this loss.
Oh, okay,
he was upset because they could have won the game.
Yeah.
They had the lead 2-0, and they just let them creep back in. Lots of penalties by UConn, and that drives me absolutely nuts because then you got it coming to you.
Yeah. I mean, games like that are disappointing to say the least. I mean, they lost to Sacred Heart actually the first game of the year at the Fridas Ice Forum in Stores, and ironically, UConn and Sacred Heart are tied with an all-time record of 29-3. So UConn's always seemed to have trouble with Sacred Heart. As a matter of fact, I think they're like 1-5 in their last 6 games against Sacred Heart. I can remember them getting shut out 2-0 either the year before or the year before that.
Well, last year they won 7-4.
We
beat them 7-4 over Sacred Heart.
I can remember them shutting out UConn either last year or the year before. But it's like those types of games where you could have gotten a win and gotten it on the right foot. And it's not good. So they ended up giving up 4 really unanswered goals after having a 2-0 lead.
They really did.
And didn't even respond.
In the last part of the game, when Sacred Heart went ahead 3-2, UConn was like, oh God.
Yeah.
And then wham, they got another one. It was like,
wow.
all right, this is
and
done.
a late penalty, and that was it.
Yeah, it was. But it was funny. The conversation Rich Capola and I had, we both looked at Corey Ronan out on the ice.
Oh yeah.
And the way he skates, the way he goes after him, the number 11. It's a young Kevin Dineen.
Yeah.
You should see the way he goes after him. He's down and he's
Yeah.
going just like Kevin Dineen used to go into those corners. He is a pesky type of player.
Yeah.
And he gives, he's taking longer shifts out there, and you can see him come off the ice, and he's tired.
Yeah.
The other change that happened, which was interesting, was Latunov was moved to wing.
Yeah.
So I forgot who was centering that line, but he was maybe Tage Thompson was centering the line, and Latunov was the winger. And it was interesting because the conversation in between periods, they were wondering why this was happening. I think he was just trying to shake up the lines to see what they could do.
Well, you got those three top scorers for UConn are Evan Richardson and Laturnov, and then
Tage Thompson.
Those are the guys that got, I think, like 11 points in how many games they've already played.
Well, yeah, Tage Thompson is 16, and then you have 11 and 11.
Oh, okay, yeah. So those are the guys that have to score. And we talked about UConn's offense and defense, and right now, in all their games played, they have 43 goals scored, and they've given up 43 goals. That's pretty much a 500 club.
And it shows by the number of ties.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they got 5 ties already. So
they do. They're 2-3-1-5. Or I'm sorry, 2-3-1 with 5. I'm sorry. I'm looking at 5 ties. Yep.
So the record's not fantastic. It's actually a little better than it was the last 2 seasons. But I think that AIC game they could have won. I think obviously the Sacred Heart game they could have won. They could have played better against BC. They had a 1-0 lead through the first period against BC the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And you went into the second period like, wow, I can't believe they're up.
Yep.
And then it just kind of
But
went.
then they went over. Then they went to Boston College.
Yeah.
And they won 4-0.
No, that was BU.
I'm sorry, BU. BU 4-0 with Huska getting the 37 saves.
Yeah, that was a good, strong shutout against BU in they were in Boston.
Yep.
That was
But
that
then
was
he
a
came
big
back
win.
and lost 5-2.
Yeah. Then they come back and they you know what? It's BC. What are you gonna do?
Well, they're 11-3 overall.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're like a locomotive.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, 5-2 is kind of what you expected. But being up 1-0 after the first period, that was impressive.
Right.
But we have a couple more minutes left here, and I also want to talk about made a trip up to Montreal.
Communists.
Getting some Whaler Guy cards out to the Canadians. And I went up there with a bunch of friends, and we all wore our Whaler jerseys. And boy, did we get amazing looks. Everybody in Montreal is pretty cool.
Bad looks or good looks?
It was all good looks, and it was kind of like, why are they here? I think people actually forgot that the Hurricanes, unfortunately, it had to be a Hurricane Canadian game, so I figured, all right, I'll wear the Whaler stuff. I could care less who won that game. But anyway, so we're in there, and we're walking around, and people are saying about the Whalers, and then one guy said, hey, it's like you're like the Whaler guys. And I said, well, it's funny you say that. Here's a card for the Whaler guys. And he said, do you remember Claude Lemieux? And I thought, it's kind of like saying,
What are you going to do about
Yeah,
it?
do you remember Hitler? Yeah, I remember how awful that
smash
guy
you.
was. So Claude Lemieux scores that game-winning seventh overtime, over Mike Liud. And I said, oh, man, you got to bring up Claude Lemieux. I mean, you got to hurt my feelings. And he goes, no. He goes, I got so much respect for the Whalers after that 7-game series. They remember it. I wore my Liut jersey. I heard chants for Liut in the background. And, we had our pictures taken with people. They absolutely loved it. Must have handed out about 100 Whaler Guy cards. So I should check our YouTube channel and see if we got any responses in French.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'll have to translate it. But great time up there, wearing it around the city. I wore my Deneen thing. Wore the Deneen jersey one day and walked by a hotel, and a guy said, hey, there's a Whaler fan. He goes, you know who comes here a lot to this hotel? Kevin Deneen. And he's the nicest guy. He talks to me all the time, treats me like a regular guy, and he loved Kevin Deneen. He remembered Kevin Deneen.
Excellent.
So it was a great time going up there. It's great to be in that is a hockey city, if anything.
Oh, it is.
The arena was, jamming and people running around, and they just barely won 2-1 over the Hurricanes. But, overall, a very good experience, and I think we got a little exposure into the northern market
that's great.
there.
I mean, I was up there in '87, and I was at the Forum. And let me tell you, I don't like the Canadians. I've always seen them as the enemy.
Yep.
But that building was, it's kind of
It's
like
a big
it's like
building.
Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. It's full of memories. And again, we're not on the same scale as Montreal, or Boston, or MSG. But you know what? Our arena has our memories.
Yeah.
They have their memories. And the Forum and the Bell Center, there's been tremendous games. I mean, the Hockey Hall of Fame is filled with Montreal Canadiens, Boston Bruins, and New York Rangers. I mean, it's the original 6. How can you not like being in a building?
Oh, it was something else. And they also have the the monument. There's the Rocket Richard monument, and then they have the jerseys are kind of retired in a almost like a statue thing. They had Patrick Waugh and all those guys, and it was interesting to see. And I'll tell you, I never saw so many people, even my wife was saying, she's like, everyone's looking at us. I'm like, yeah, they are, because they recognize this jersey. And there was a lot of, hey, Whalers, Whalers.
You brought up Patrick Waugh, and I was watching the top 10 meltdowns of hockey players
he's in
on
there.
SportsCenter.
Yeah.
He was on there when they left him in too long.
Yeah.
And he got actually abused in goal.
He did.
He skated off the ice, went up to the general manager who was sitting behind the bench, and he says, I will never play for the Montreal Canadiens again. And that was the last game.
Yeah.
And he went on to play for
they still made
Colorado.
a monument for him, but yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Great.
Burn
that jersey.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get ready to go to this meeting. Wish us luck. Pete will be doing the public speaking tonight because someone will say something and I'll get aggravated.
You're right.
So Pete is the spokesperson for the Whaler guys because I'll be sitting doing the security detail for him.
You're right.
Because we don't need to make any more enemies. But we will report back to you. We hope that this goes very positively. We know there's Whaler fans going to be in attendance and some other things going on. So we will see you next time on the Whaler Guys. We're the Whaler Guys. You guys are the Brigade. We will always be one nation under green. Have a great night, everyone.